Welcome back to the Dirt on Real Estate, everybody. This is a Utah-based podcast where we get down and dirty with everything you need to know about buying, owning, and loving your first home. We have a great episode planned for today. Today we're talking with Drew. Drew just recently closed on their first home, him and his wife. So we get into some fun conversations about what the process was like for them and some things they wish they had known and wish they would do different next time. And then, as always, we do a great home tour on this podcast. Today, we're heading out to Mapleton to view a townhome with Edge Homes. So stick around, we got lots of great dirt coming your way. All right, quick fact for you guys before we get into the interview with Drew. Utah is currently the 9th most expensive housing market in the country. So there's your fun fact for today. Let's chat with Drew. All right, we have Drew here with us today. We're so excited to have Drew here. Drew and his wife recently bought their first home, and that's why we're having them on the podcast today to kind of talk about, what the process looked like for them, some things that they weren't expecting or didn't know about. So we're going to hop right into it. We're going to kind of start off our discussion with how long the process was for you guys, and I don't know, maybe what your expectations were with how long you thought you needed to get a mortgage and find a house that you liked, but kind of get into that first little bit of when did you guys start looking for a house and then go from there.
Yeah, so for us, my wife was pregnant at the time. Well, she's still pregnant. We're getting close, but we wanted to have a house before the baby came. So this is like December, January-ish kind of, and we're like, I think it might be time to start thinking about buying a house. And the baby's due in July, so this is like a kind of 7 months out. Honestly, yeah, I expected it to probably take around 6 months, something like that. I didn't want it to, but because like I was in school at that time, and working part-time and doing volunteer work and all of that combined with trying to find a house and then also try to find a full-time job as soon as I graduate, super stressful. At that point, we started to kind of meet some people, but it wasn't full on identifying a specific house.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are in that same situation where it's like we would love to buy a house and maybe we have a baby coming, maybe we're graduating. So for you guys, I think you guys were smart. You kind of sat down and you're like, okay, baby comes in 7, 8 months, whatever. When did you sit down actually with a mortgage officer?
The mortgage officer, probably March, actually. We met with, so my father-in-law, my wife's dad, had just referred us to his because he liked him. He's gone through quite a few and he really liked this one. He was like, just use him. And we met with him and just kind of figured out kind of like the general numbers and general budgeting.
Say like general numbers and general budgeting, is that saying for like what your price range was?
Yeah, like what could we afford? Because I had like kind of an idea of what my starting salary would be, just assuming what kind of positions I'm going for, and then like my past experience. So because I was looking at a certain range, that he was able to kind of take that into consideration and calculate out like, well, in order to keep your DTI, right?
Debt to income ratio.
Right. The debt to income ratio at the right level. We had a budget of like just under 400,000 was the idea. Yeah, like a little over was fine, but we were like, okay, good. Then 350, we're totally fine. And he was like, okay, he directed us towards townhomes, condos, that kind of thing.
Awesome. So that was in roughly March, and you guys pretty recently closed. You said beginning of June-ish?
Beginning of June, yeah.
Okay, so you met with mortgage officer in about March, found a house fairly quick.
Yeah, we talked to him and had a house, and then it got sold the next day. And we were like, great. We were literally about to get pre-approved so that we could put in an offer, and then they went under contract. And then it was probably like 2 or 3 weeks later, we found another house.
So yeah, that's something that we mentioned a couple weeks ago when we were talking to Casey on this podcast, is to put an offer in on a house, 99% of the time you'll have to have your mortgage pre-approval letter showing the sellers that you can afford to buy said house, right? So that's kind of a bummer that you guys missed out. I mean, by a day, that is really rough. But it does show, especially in Utah, things can go quick. I mean, it's not just Utah. Real estate in general, if you like a house and maybe it's been on the market for over 100 days, who knows? But tomorrow it could be under contract and they're locked into an offer. You never know. That's kind of the hard thing with real estate.
We felt like we kind of had to be a little aggressive. We were told it's kind of a buyer's market at this time, but it's still like you said, those houses were going so fast. It was within a week on average.
That's crazy. After you talked with the mortgage officer and you're looking at homes, what kind of things for your family were you looking for in a home?
So my wife really wants land, so a place that had kind of a yard. It's really hard with our budget, and in Utah, that was something for sure. We wanted more space. So the ideal was kind of the three bedroom, two bathroom idea, so that we could have our bedroom, of course, a baby's bedroom, and then kind of a free miscellaneous use bedroom that's primarily used for her crafts. It's what I'm in right now, and I'm not letting you see the floor.
No stress at all. I'm right there with you. We're kind of in the same situation right now with the three bedrooms, and somehow it's all full. We don't even have a baby yet. My wife is also pregnant, and it is every room completely full. There's no issue with that. Are you guys in a townhome?
Yeah, so we're in a townhome now. It's three bedroom and three bathroom, which is nice. Two and a half bath if you want to be specific. It doesn't have a yard. It has like a 10 square foot back fenced in porch area. But what we liked about it was just behind it is this open grass space that's like manicured by the HOA. So we kind of have a yard, a little bit of a space to just be outside and enjoy the fresh air and sunshine and everything. It's not ours, so one day, but this is good for now. To answer your question about being easy, it was not easy. There were so many houses around this kind of had a lot of the elements we wanted, but either they were just out of our price range or they were gone like literally instantly. It was hard to compete for something like that. Somehow this nice little decent alternative showed up that we were able to put an offer on.
That's awesome, yeah. And it's just kind of compromising in ways that you can and kind of finding a good middle ground that fits for your family and where you guys are. What did the loan process actually look like for you guys? Because it's kind of a daunting process, especially for somebody that maybe even hasn't ever had a loan, even a car loan in their life before. What was the process working through for your guys' mortgage and how difficult was that?
It's definitely complicated. We were really lucky to have this like a familiar face, basically, someone who is more trusted just because we've had family use him before. He was very, very transparent, just said, look, here's what goes into our calculation and like determining what the interest rates are and determining if you are eligible at all. This is what we need from you, and this is what the outcome is going to be. So we got to kind of just play around with it, just kind of be like, here's this hypothetical here. And it was really nice that he just had a calculator to plug it in and spit out a potential possibility for us. It was pretty long. Like we probably met with him 4 or 5 times before we even like had a pre-approval. I don't know if that's a lot, but it was just kind of complicated because I was juggling that with school and then trying to get a full-time job. But then at the same time as that, we're like putting these three timelines and trying to align them just right with the baby's due date, the getting a house, and then getting a full-time job. And of course, they like a W-2 a lot more than any kind of contractor or self-employment. So like the moment that I finally got my full-time job and they were like, "Hey, we hire on as 1099 employees." I was like, "Oh, great. What am I going to do about that?" that took a little bit of time to kind of have like a negotiation process with them, and then going back to the loan officer and being like, what do we need from this? And what's the timing here? But eventually, I was able to negotiate a W-2 employee status, even though it costs the company a little bit more to pay taxes in that way. And then because I had a W-2 payment status, we were able to put it at the exact right time so that we have a paycheck that comes before the first loan. And it just kind of took a leap of faith as like, we're going to go for this and then hope that the house just comes up on the market. And luckily it did. So it worked out okay.
Yeah, it all works out somehow. We don't always realize how it's going to get there, but it all works out somehow. And it's always better having some trusted people backing you. Like you knew your mortgage officer, and I think you guys knew your realtor as well. Really helps having those people in your corner. You can rely on them, trust them to not, fluff up whatever they're giving you for advice, but just the actual nitty gritty details so that you can get into the house when you want to and need to. What did it look like for you guys working with your real estate agent? What kind of things did they help you with and go over with you that you felt helpful?
Yeah, so that very first meeting we had with our real estate agent, she sat us down and she gave us a folder, just a packet of like papers that explained the process. It was really, really helpful. Luckily, this was before we've even found a house or anything because she's helping us shop around. And it just had like this chain of events. You identify a house, you get a pre-approval, you put in an offer on the house, you negotiate all of those things that lead all the way up to the closing and turning the keys over. So that was extremely helpful. Other things that we found really helpful is she came with us to each showing or just going to look at the house. When we did that, she asked us like kind of what we saw, what we liked, what did we notice about the house, and then she would point out maybe some things we didn't notice. And then every time we liked a house and we wanted to put in an offer, before we did so, she did some market research and would compare prices for other houses in the area that were selling at this time and gave us a recommendation like, hey, if this is maybe a little bit overpriced because most houses in the area are selling a little less, or maybe it's the other way around, and like, hey, you're gonna get a really good deal here. Just really, really helpful stuff to know. Really grateful that she did a lot of that research for us. That was something I actually didn't expect a real estate agent to do. I thought that they just kind of were the negotiators, but knowing that she was there at the property and then also getting deeper information to share with us was really, really nice.
Yeah, I think, as a real estate agent and trying to have my client's best interest in heart and mind, it totally makes sense that she, was willing to do some of that research for you. And it's needed to feel like you're in the know of, am I actually making good investment on this house or not? Now, I think that's awesome that she was willing to put in that time and effort. And I think that's what a good real estate agent should do. Ultimately, it is up to you guys the price that you offer, but it is also up to your agent to give you information. That is their job, to give you information and to help you feel like you know what's going on. So, continuing on, Drew, what kind of things, I don't know, we talked a little bit before, and there were a couple things that surprised you a little bit with the negotiation standpoint of your agent. And like you just said, you thought that their job was mainly just negotiation. What kind of surprised you about the communication through the whole process with your agent and with the seller?
Yeah, I had no idea how it was supposed to play out. So we were just talking to our real estate agent, and she goes, "Okay, I'll reach out and talk to him." And then she would like come back and bring us options, and we're like, "Are we supposed to reach out to the seller?" And she's just like, "No, never. You will never talk to them. You'll never see them. You'll never hear their voice. Like there is no communication whatsoever between the buyer and the seller. Apparently, it's all through the agents." So that was definitely a surprise to me, coming from like basically we have this line of here's us as the buyer going to our agent who goes to their agent who goes to the seller, and like that's a long chain. I hope everything gets communicated all the way across, which Of course, that's why we have the papers or everybody reads them and we sign them that way. So it's like one centralized communication piece. But yeah, I was surprised that we didn't communicate with them at all. I was grateful because there were some really stressful moments in there uh, that I didn't have to deal with directly. But also, it was kind of took a lot of time. It takes a long time to buy a house because of all the steps that go in between.
Yeah, amen. I had a client recently that this was also their first time buying a house, and it was that like same exact realization of just, oh, we don't actually talk to the seller at all. Well, that's kind of not what I was expecting, but kind of nice. And it can be really beneficial because there were a few circumstances where it was a little more stressful, and I was able to negotiate through. Oh man, we ended up they needed a new roof and we weren't expecting that, and they needed a new electrical panel and we weren't expecting that, and just those kind of things where when you're talking with a homeowner from a buyer's standpoint, you don't want to overstep boundaries and it's their home, but when you're talking agent to agent, it can be more of a business standpoint and they're each looking out for their client's best interest, and you don't have all of the trying to be cordial and nice. It really, you're just down to business and that's all it is. Were there any other things you felt like that were, I don't know, big shockers about the process or closing or moving into the home?
I expected closing to be like us, our agent, and the seller and their agent, and then like a loan officer, and then the title company people all at one big table, and we're just like signing papers together. We showed up, it was just us and the title company, and we went through everything. And then later, after we were gone, and in our case, actually the next day, was when the seller sent in all her papers after meeting with her um, title company and then sent it over to ours. And then they finally sent us an email. Like it was very much spread out. It wasn't all like one meeting where I think that they were trying to take away a lot of the emotion from it so that we don't have these heated arguments or like explosions of which I almost was like trying to prepare for. Luckily, nothing happened. It was very calm, very easy to go through, and it was really just signing papers and having a third party explain the entire process and what all the legal jargon means.
And we had a escrow officer on last week. Her name was Robin. So she works in a title office, and that's like her main job is just walking people through that whole process of, okay, this is what this document is, and now we're at closing, and it's a lot, and it's important to be able to ask those questions. So if you're not in a safe place, if you don't feel comfortable being with the seller there, you just let your agent know or you let the title company know, hey, can we do our closing with just us? And it's no problem. They don't mind it at all. Do you have anything that you would have done differently or you would do differently on the next house that you guys buy?
Yeah, definitely next time. I don't want to have so many deadlines all piling up at the same time. Luckily, like it's a patience game, right? You're most likely to get a good deal on a house by being patient, I guess depending on the market. But in our case, definitely. We were luckily able to play that game and be patient enough, but we were kind of approaching our limit on patience because there's a limit to whenever the baby comes and whenever I can get a job and graduation just like there's a date for that. So next time I want to have a little bit more flexibility so that I could have like maybe a 3 month window of, hey, I can buy a house here or I can buy a house 3 months from now or 6 months from now would be even better. And then not be so stressed about it. Just one, it'd be emotionally feel better. And then two, I think that we'd be in a better headspace to just negotiate cleanly.
Very well said and good advice. So, Drew, as we're kind of wrapping up here, do you have any last advice for people that may have be in your same situation, might not be the ideal time that they would love? Maybe they also have a baby coming soon. Do you have any other just last advice for kind of somebody in your same situation that is going through the same process of buying a home right now?
Yeah, I definitely say go check out a lot of houses and check out a variety of houses. What you like might surprise you, but I would say that when you're there at the home, looking around, the feeling you have there is really what you're going to go off of most of the time. The location, like how to get there, how to leave there, and what it feels like to be inside of there. Those are all really important factors that go into your home because once it's yours, you're going to be living in it, and all of those things are your everyday. So I hope you like it enough, at least, just at least like it. We looked at a lot of places, different sizes, different areas, different features, different types of homes like condos or actual houses or townhomes. And they all just have a different feel. And when you kind of get creative and think about what could go here, what kind of furniture, or maybe we take down this wall or things like that, it just opens up other possibilities you might not have thought of beforehand, but you have to be there to actually have those ideas come to you.
I think that's very true and very well said. Thank you so much, Drew. I really appreciate you taking the time to be with me today. I think some people might be worried about asking their real estate agent, looking at too many homes and they feel bad, but it's never too many homes. I totally agree. You need to be in the home to know what it feels like, to know what the neighborhood feels like if you have kids, what the commute is to your work. I think that was really great advice. So thank you so much, Drew.
Thanks for having me.
All right, today we are in Mapleton with Edge Homes. This is the Harmony Ridge community here in Mapleton. We are at one of their amazing townhomes. Let's get into it. Okay, this townhome has a great open concept main floor. Big kitchen. Love the island with the deep sink here. This kitchen has some great storage space, including this pantry. I love the window up top. You can get in there, but lots of shelving, great space for a pantry. It doesn't always happen in townhomes, so that's one really great feature in this one. It's a very functional kitchen. Just feels open and light and bright, as well as the living room here. This main floor has a great open vaulted ceiling in the living room. You've got a view of the mountains all around. One of the great things about this community as well is the accessibility to everything around. You have the Oaks at Spanish Fork Golf Course just 2 minutes down the road, Spanish Fork Canyon, you've got Schofield Reservoir right up there, Hot Springs, and then you've also got Mapleton and Spanish Fork just down the road a mile, all the restaurants, stores, everything you need. All right, we're walking up the stairs here to the second level. There's 3 bedrooms on this level. We're gonna start in the primary here. This primary bedroom has great big windows. It's got plenty of space. And the best thing, in my opinion, about this room is the ensuite bathroom with huge walk-in closet right behind it as well. So as we walk in here, great double vanity on the left, big shower on the right, and then you've got toilet off to the right with a linen closet just on the other side. And then you've got this great walk-in closet off the back. So from this primary bedroom, we head down this hallway. You've got washer, dryer on the right side here. Plenty of space, great shelving up above as well. Full bathroom for these 2 bedrooms. Then you've got these great kids' rooms. Most of these Edge homes have these awesome double door closets. Great space for all the things that you need. And then this house in particular has these amazing views of the mountains. Also, side note, we in this family, huge skiers, love the decor in this room. Top notch, they really did a great job. All right, second bedroom up here, pretty much the same thing. Great windows, double door closets. All right, that's it for the home tour and for this podcast for today. As always, thank you guys for watching. Please give this video a like, comment, subscribe. All of that really helps us out here. And as always, if you're looking to buy or sell in Utah, please give me a call or text. My phone number is in the show notes below. I would love to chat with you. We'll be back next week for more dirt.